Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Hollywood Arcade. I'm Steven, and for today's video we're going to be going over episode 4 of Wandavision. They're laying a lot of groundwork for future projects and the expansion of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and I'm going to break all that down for you today, so sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. In any of my previous videos, please know that there are heavy spoiler warnings going forward. I'm going to be breaking down a lot of the connections between the MCU and the Marvel comic books and their origins of a lot of these characters. So if you don't want anything spoiled, bow out now. In my previous videos, I've broke down that the character Monica Rambeau, in case you were unfamiliar, is the daughter of Maria Rambeau, who in the Air Force was a pilot alongside Carol Danvers, aka Captain Marvel. If you saw the Captain Marvel film, Maria Danvers' daughter, Monica Rambeau, is featured here. Now, we know that in the comic books, Monica Rambeau becomes a superhero. One of her superhero names that she takes, including Captain Marvel, is Photon. And we saw here that in this episode that Maria Rambeau's call sign was Photon. So this is another hint that this show is potentially leading in to origin story of sorts of the character Photon, aka Monica Rambeau. So we get to see Monica snapped back, and I really enjoyed seeing all the people coming back into existence from being dead for 5 years. And soon afterwards, Monica rejoins her station at SWORD and meets the director of SWORD, a man named Hayward, whom she used to work with before she had been snapped out of existence. Now he says that she's been grounded, meaning that she can't fly the way she typically used to as a pilot because her mother, when she was director of SWORD, had made a rule that would forbid somebody who was snapped back into existence from flying. And I don't know how probable this is, but I'm just going to say I don't buy it. I really doubt that her mom, of all the people, would have thought of a contingency where her daughter was brought back to life and she would forbid her from flying. That just seems counterintuitive, but that's just a guess on my part. After Monica disappears into the town of Westview, SWORD sends in specialists in the field of artificial intelligence, chemical engineering, nuclear biology, and astrophysics. The astrophysicist they bring in is Darcy. We met her in the Thor movies. She's friends with Jane Foster. Now, another slight spoiler in case you are just really out of the loop with the announcements of the MCU movies, at least comparatively to me, is that Natalie Portman, and this is a little bit of a spoiler, so I'll give you a few seconds to plug your ears in case you don't want to know any spoilers in regards to the Thor franchise. But Jane Foster, the character, is confirmed to be a female version of Thor. This has a precedent in the comic books, so they're not just pulling it out for any old reason. But this is also making a connection to the future of the Thor franchise as well. And so we're getting to the reason why I think that this show is really going to be establishing the expansion of the Mystic Universe for the Marvel Cinematic Universe, is that Darcy's equipment picks up high levels of something called CMBR. That's cosmic microwave background radiation. We see Hayward refer to it as relic radiation dating back to the Big Bang. And I really feel like this is just something that Marvel is going to define magic as. It really seems like something that's, like a source for magicians or sorcerers to pull from, It was really fun for me to see that a couple of our predictions came true, in that the beekeeper that was shown a couple episodes ago really was just a SWORD agent trying to make contact, as well as the confirmation that Wanda really is in control of everything. The town of Westview is hers to manipulate.
And I want you to leave.
So then Monica is flung outside of the town of Westview, SWORD surrounds her, and she tells everybody that it's all Wanda. But I'm here to say and ask the question, is it? Because there are a couple of crucial things that they didn't cover when they went over the townspeople list in the SWORD camp. They did not identify Agnes, and they did not identify Dottie. So One of the big questions that I've had is, if Wanda is in control, why did Agnes and why did Herb rat Monica out to Vision? Were they acting on behalf of Wanda's subconscious? Or are they players of their own? Have they infiltrated Westview in the same way that S.W.O.R.D. has infiltrated Westview? Now, it would make a lot of sense if they were just acting on behalf of Wanda's subconscious desires to not have her happily ever after with Vision interrupted. But the reason I'm going to lean a little bit more towards the fact that they're there of their own volition is because in the previous episode, I believe it was episode 2, Agnes introduces Wanda to Dottie as the woman who makes everything happen. I'm not making an exact quote, but that was the general idea, was that Dottie was the one that had all of the connections. So why in her subconscious would Agnes introduce Wanda, if Wanda is in control, to another person who has all the connections that makes everything happen? It could be that it's just going along with a television plot of some kind, but I have a feeling it has more nefarious purposes. And that's what I'm kind of getting at, is I think that there is something else going on here, that yes, Wanda is in control of her environment, but I do believe that she's being manipulated. So we get to see that Vision says to her, we can leave here, we don't have to stay in this town. And Wanda says that they do. She assures him that they have to stay because that's their home now. And I believe this is really her saying, if we leave, you will die, because only in this safe space, this finite space that I have created, that I am in control of, can I keep you alive. And of course, they end the show with Voodoo Child. I wish I could play that over in my video right now, because that was just such a great exit song to that episode. I really loved that episode. It was answering a lot of questions and also laying the groundwork for a lot in the future, as I've kind of illustrated in my video here today. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you haven't already, or if you're new to the channel, please be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification so that you can always be notified when I come out with a new video. And if you liked the video, please hit the like button. And if you disliked it, please feel free to hit the dislike button. And either way, reach out to me in the comments below. I'd love to have a chat with you. Thanks for stopping by the Hollywood Arcade. I'm Steven, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Bye-bye.